Hey guys, Mario here from MTG Diagnosis with a bonus episode. I wanted to show you my Dragons deck I've been making with primarily Core 2019 and some Dominaria cards, but it's pretty much Core 2019. And I really like this deck because it's a lot of fun actually to play, not just competitive. It's not only competitive, but a lot of fun to play. And first card here that's a staple is the Dragon's Hoard. It's 3 colors to cast. Whenever you cast a dragon, or whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter, and then you can remove a gold counter to draw a card or add 1 mana of any color. Very resourceful for casting Elder Dragons, but also you cast any kind of dragon, put a gold counter, don't have much in your hand, just tap it to draw a card. So card draw and mana of any color is both great abilities. So I put 4 of those in here. The other card, Lightning Strike, 3 damage to any target, including the player or planeswalker. For 1 red, 1 colorless is a great card. So I put 4 of those in there as well. Spit Flame, 1 red, 2 colorless, deals 4 damage to a creature. You cast this early in the game. Then when it's in your graveyard, you cast a dragon, you pay a red, you return this to the graveyard to your hand, and now you got another 4 damage Spit Flame. So I put 4 of those in here as well, because this deck is going to have a lot of dragons and a lot of mana. So you need this is a great staple. And then Sarkhan's Unsealing, it's 1 red, 3 colorless. Whenever you cast a creature 4, 5, or 6 power, it deals 4 damage to any target. Whenever you cast a creature with 7 power or greater, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. So mostly you're going to be using it for the first ability because there's only 1 creature in this whole deck that has 7 powers. So and the first ability, I mean, it's a Spit Flame, a free Spit Flame every time you cast a big dragon. So there's 2 of these in here. Next is our main man, Sarkhan Fireblood. The main reason why I decided to make this deck was because I drew him in a pack, and then I got him at a booster draft, and then I got another one of them in the booster box. So I had 3 already. I only needed 1 more. So I got 4 of him, and 1 he's a foil, so that's pretty cool. And 2 red, 1 colorless. You may discard a card and draw a card for a +1, but his second ability, +1 to add 1 loyalty. You add 2 men of any combination of colors to cast a dragon spell. Huge. That's a great ability whenever you're casting dragons, because the biggest drawback of dragons is that they have a high costing cast. So, and then the -7 if you get there. 4 red, or 4 5/5 red dragon creature tokens with flying. Great ability. So for him, and then I got 1 of the Dragon Soul, so the Sarkhan Dragon Soul, because his ultimate is actually better than the other ultimate. His ultimate is search your library for any number of dragons and put them into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. I mean, that's the ultimate ability for this deck. And he comes in with 5 loyalty for 6 to cast. You give him +2. He does 1 damage to each opponent and each creature an opponent controls. You do that twice. The third turn, you're basically getting all your dragons out. So he's a great card, in my opinion. High cast, high loyalty. Dragon's Egg, good early creature. 1 red, 2 colors for a 0/2 defender, and when he dies, you get a 2/2 red dragon creature with flying and with fire breathing. So 3 of him. And then there's 3 Sarkhan's Whelps. And Sarkhan's Whelps, he does 2/2 flying for 3 to cast. It's a dragon. Note, the Dragon Egg is also a dragon. So this isn't a whelp. This is actually a dragon. So this goes really well in this deck. And he's a 2/2 flying. And whenever you activate your Sarkhan ability, Planeswalker ability, he deals 1 damage to any target. So 3 of him. Early game, he's a 2/2 flyer. Late game, you cast him for only 3, and you trigger all of your other cards that require dragon to be cast. Demanding Dragon, 2 red, 3 colors for a 5/5 flying, deals 5 damage to the opponent unless the opponent sacrifices a creature. One, dealing 5 damage or 1/4 of your opponent's life if he doesn't sacrifice a creature is huge. And secondly, if he does sacrifice a creature, you have a 5/5 flying out, and he had to get rid of one of his creatures. So I put 3 of those in there. The only time that's a bad thing is if you're going up against a token deck, a bunch of 1/1s. But if you have a 5/5 flyer out, you're not afraid of a bunch of 1/1s. Glorybringer. So this is a good card. 5 to cast for a 4/4 flying haste, and when you attack him, if you exert him, he doesn't untap during your next untap phase, but you do 4 damage to a non-target non-dragon creature. So you basically get a creature out with haste, with flying, 4/4, and you get a spit flame. So we put 3 of those in there. Varric's Bladewing, one of the lowest cost dragons you can find for 4/4 flying, and if you kick them for 3 colorless is not a bad kicker. That's actually pretty good. You get a token, legendary 4/4 dragon creature token with flying. So there's 3 of him in here as well, because usually your opponent's killing him right when you cast him or that same turn. So you need to have some backup. He's legendary. Lathless, so she's huge. I mean, 6/6 flying for 2 red, 4 colorless, and whenever you add a non-token dragon to the battlefield, you gain create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying, and she gives all your dragons fire breathing. Huge in this deck. You can, if you get Sarkhan out your 3rd turn, your 4th turn, you can cast her with 4 mana, 4 lands, and Sarkhan's ability. So 2 of her in there. And then here we go. We got our main man, Nicol Bolas. 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, 1 colorless, 4/4 flying. He does, when he comes into play, your opponent has to discard a card, which is huge. And then if you use his ability, use 7 mana to use his ability, he turns into one of the best planeswalkers in the game right now. I mean, 7 loyalty. He starts with, really hard to kill when you have. He's got 7 loyalty, and +2 he draws 2 cards, and then -3 he deals 10 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and -4 you put a target creature or planeswalker from a graveyard onto your battlefield under your control, and -12. I mean, you pretty much wiped out your opponent. He can exile all the bottom card of a player's deck. I mean, that's amazing. So let me be careful with him because he's precious, my precious. So he's going for about $35, but I actually got him in a it was funny, booster draft. Last pack out of 3, I called it. I was like, this pack has Nicol Bolas. It had Sarkhan on the front of it like this, looked like this. It had Sarkhan in full. I was like, playing booster draft with my local game store with the 6 other people, and I was like, okay, this is my Nicol Bolas right here, and everybody heard me. So then when I opened it and I looked at the rare or the mythic, I showed everybody. I'm like, this is the card I'm taking, and they were all dumbfounded, like, I can't believe you called that. So that's how I got my Nicol Bolas. So if you had 2 Nicol Bolases, this deck should use 2 Nicol Bolases. That's a dragon deck. You should have 2 Nicol Bolas. Vivictus Asmati, 6/6 flying. Really good ability for 6/6 flying for 6. I mean, you can't beat that. And then his ability, you have to, each player, including yourself, has to sacrifice a permanent and then put the top card in their deck. I mean, and you get to pick which permanent you sacrifice and your opponent sacrifice. So that's a great card. And then Palladia Moors, she's 6/6 flying, vigilance, trample, and she's got hexproof until she deals damage or is dealt damage. So you got a 6/6 wall, that can't be firebolt, disintegrated, or banefire, or anything like that. Darigaaz Reincarnated, this is our 7/7. This is the only 7/7 in the deck, and he's 7 to cast, and he's got flying, trample, haste, and if he dies, he's exiled with 3 egg counters. You take off the 3 counters. He comes back into the game, returns to the battlefield. So really love this guy. He's a good card. One of them in there. Unclaimed Territory. You need 4 of those. You just, it's a dragon deck. You call dragons. You use colorless to cast your regular spells, but you can use any color to cast your dragons, so that's a staple for a dragon deck. Dragon Skull Summit, actually these are 2 Cinder Barons, but once I get my Dragon Skull Summits in the mail, I'm going to replace these Cinder Barons with 3 Dragon Skull Summits. Clifftop Retreat, there's 3 of them in here. The good thing, yeah, and this is the thing about Dragon Skull Summit and Clifftop Retreat, is that if you control a mountain, these come into play untapped. So you don't have to worry about slowing you down with tapped mana. And then you got 14 mountains, so, and you need the mountains for the other special lands, so except for the unclaimed territory. So that's my dragon deck so far. It's got a little over 60 cards, so but you know, having a lot of fun with playing the dragons. If you get Sarkhan's Sarkhan Fireblood, 4 of them and 4 Dragon's Hordes, and you can make any combination of dragon cards for this deck. And you know, with new sets coming out, new dragons coming out, you can change out some of the dragons with other dragons. And you know, give me some comments, like, subscribe. Let me know if you think there's other things I could have done, like change how many Varric's Blade Wings or how many Glory Bringers, or you know, get rid of the Dragon's Eggs, you know. But I recommend you guys play with this deck a little bit, make something similar, say something in the comments, let me know, and see you guys next time. So don't forget to have fun, playing Magic. Don't bring any drama to the game store. I mean, it's a lot of fun just meeting new people, and you know, you lose, you win, you know, and that's the fun of the game, because you know, you win, you play another game, you lose, you play another game, and it's just relaxing. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it gives you some ideas for other decks. Have a good night. Bye.